Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, your number one podcast for all things Assassin's Creed.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this surprise extra episode, episode 111. Um, we spoke a few days ago about parkour, and since then, there's been some big news, Declan.
I know I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat here. Having no phone has to be the biggest godsend because
Oh, mate,
I
you've
knew.
missed. That's the point. You've missed all the spoilers, which is fantastic.
I think it's been a hard day though because my missus has fallen ill today, so
Oh no.
I've been like helping out the kids a lot more. So I would have missed the trailers as well, but I don't know what's coming. So everything right now is gonna be a genuine reaction, except for the crossover. That will not be a genuine reaction, but I will explain when we get to the crossover
We'll get there. Yeah. So I
trailer.
suppose what we should say to the listeners is it's the 13th of December. It's just before 9 o'clock UK time. So what 4 hours ago, Ubisoft released two trailers for two new, let's call them expansions. Um, yeah, I mean, Declan, do you want to? I mean, the first one's about 3 minutes, so why don't you hit play? You'll see. I watched it earlier, perhaps when I should have been working, but you're going to watch it for the first time and then give us your reaction. So yeah, go ahead.
Right, before I hit play,
Yeah.
I'm just going to open this as Todd server a second, and there's a reason why. So
Hmm.
I've avoided everything.
I wouldn't look in there if I were you, my friend,
No,
because everyone's chatting.
but I've got something that I've already posted. So I wanted to make it known right now because I have no phone. I've been predicting that the second DLC will be Ragnarok, Battle of the Gods, because I believe that the truth video is not right. Well, no, it's right, but why they're leaving all the weapons? Because they're fighting the gods. That's the mythology. And see, where's it gone? Here we go. So this was back on yesterday, at 7:30 people. So this was yesterday. My idea is the truth they leave with the weapons drawn, and Odin already has guards ready to kill Loki, so I believe the aftermath that is the Eastern Civil War at the end of the world led by Loki's children fits with Ragnarok myth and explains why Odin, among other reasons, didn't want Loki to have access into the Sage device and explains why they left. I also believe that Suitor is actually a what would I call it? Um I can't read my writing. But the metaphor, Suitor will be a metaphor for this solar apocalypse because in the Norse mythology, after Loki dies battling Heimdall, the Watcher, Suitor raises his flame sword to the sky and perishes the earth in a cleansing fire. Well, I think it's Asgard.
Interesting. So that's sort of a direct story from the Norse mythology, is it?
Yes, in the Ragnarok story, I know I should be watching the trailer, but I'll give a brief overview.
This is just building tension. You carry on.
In the Ragnarok, um, after Loki refuses to cry for Balder and Balder dies, which is another story it's fascinating, Loki is tortured, his children are killed by Odin. Well, look, Thor. That leads to the Battle of the Gods. Fenrir escapes after being imprisoned. Jormungandr, the world serpent, attacks Thor. Fenrir attacks Odin, so there's that big battle. Hel, Loki's daughter, brings an army from Midgard into a battlefield, and they all fight on this final battlefield, and they all die. And Suitor is there with his flaming sword. Now, I don't think Suitor would be an Isu. I think he's a metaphor for the um, Toby catastrophe because Suitor is described as being there in the fires of Melfheim and has a flaming sword. And at the very end, after Loki wins, well, he thinks he's won, Suitor stands victorious and raises his sword to sky and cleanses it. But at the same time, Suitor did kill another god because the god gave away his sword, so that would be like a piece of Eden he got rid of. But I'm hoping they don't do word for word because the Asgard story was the Builder tale from Norse mythology, but that wasn't word for word because in Valhalla we didn't have Basim, aka Loki, going out and birthing an eight-legged horse for Odin. Which, what would your reaction to be that, James, if you play Valhalla and Loki came back birthing an eight-legged horse?
I'd wonder if we were in some kind of avatar. Oh no, they were
I think I've
six-legged
lost your
animals, weren't
audio.
they? You've lost my audio. Can you hear me now?
I think I've stunned James to silence. Yes, we're maybe having a bit of a technical glitch. I think James' mic has probably not wanting to work. Or is it my headphones? This is like
Declan, my friend, can you hear me?
such a surprise. It's my headphones. James, can you talk?
Yeah, I can talk. So, assuming that Declan fixes his headphones, he'll
Fixed.
be right back. Hey, can you hear me, mate?
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Because I was scrambling, but that's fine. I had a little bit of waffle. I could have padded out for 30 seconds, but hey, we'll edit that out, and it'll be super smooth. Except, of course, as everyone knows, we never edit anything. So let's carry on.
So, should I press play on the trailer?
I think you should. So this is going to be what, 2 minutes 30 seconds, I think, something like the trailer is. There's not going to be much to listen to on the podcast because I'm not going to speak because I want Declan just to soak it up and
I'll be
absorb it.
speaking. I'll be
Okay,
giving you
mate,
a live by
go for
live
it.
presentation
Oh,
of my
if you want
drool,
to do it that way, you go for it, buddy.
my drool on the floor.
I think you're going to like it, mate.
Okay,
Hit it.
right, 4K. I'm ready. Let's go. Flex my muscle. Ooh, oh. Wait, that's not Asgard or Jotunheim. Oh wait, no. Ooh. Ooh, a battle. Ha. If the statues are falling, I knew it was a battle. So that'd be Melfheim. So it looks like it's going to be Ragnarok, the story of Ragnarok. Battle of the Gods. Is that Odin?
I just like to say to the people listening at home, I am loving listening to Declan. This is great.
Pardon? I thought I heard something. Okay, sorry guys, I may be drooling too much.
Carry on, mate.
Oh, is that an Isu temple? Yeah. I'm only like a minute in, and oh my god! Like, why does Odin have a hidden blade? That's not right. But I don't care. I don't care.
It's the
Whoa,
animals.
whoa, whoa! Pause.
What did you see? I mean, I think I know what this will be, but tell me what you see.
Oh my god! Is that? Are they finally doing it? Oh, they are. After Odin destroys one of the frost giants, there is a flash with Isu writing, and we get a brief glimpse of
Yes.
Eightfor.
Yes.
So is Ava reliving a battle in real life, and the battle is awakening some memories of the last battle of Odin. That's why she's seeing the Isu writing, because she's buried Odin's memory, but suddenly this battle is having such a traumatic effect, it's bringing up Odin. If it is, that'd be so cool. Ooh. Looks like we might get some fantasy abilities, which I'd be pretty intrigued about, but I wonder if this means they're going to add new pieces of Eden into the lore. Ooh. Necromancer abilities. Oh, that's the world tree. Oh, well, that's a disappointing.
Go on.
I would assume Suta was going to be a metaphor, not a physical representation. I
Have you
will
reached the end of the trailer?
nearly. I'm just like stopping, pausing at bits. I got my mouth drooling.
All right. Carry on. Carry on.
Hmm. That doesn't really make sense, but there's a flash. Why does it look like Odin? I don't know. Maybe 10th of March. Okay, I may need to go and sell my soul. I
Understood.
I want this DLC. I have been climbing for mythology since AC 1 and 2. Like this, it. I will admit,
This is right up your alley, I think, isn't it?
it's right on my alley, and I'm a huge lover of the mythology. My only niggle with this DLC trailer is it does convey it really heavily into the mythology. For some reason, Odin has a hidden blade, which I don't understand how that's going to work. I know probably gameplay mechanic.
Hang on a minute. So, if I know you've probably got so much you want to say, but if we can, I want to ask questions where possible. So, why shouldn't Odin have a hidden blade?
Because technically, hidden blade he has. Well, technically, the hidden blade wouldn't have been invented till Darius.
Okay.
So, him having a hidden blade makes no sense. I know from a memory animus gameplay glitch, it could work, but
Here's what
it's
we don't
nitpicky.
know. Is this going to be Eivor goes over to Valka's hut, drinks a new potion, and is she, if she's regressing and reliving memories? I assume that's how they're going to frame it. Then why can't she take the why can't she take the hidden blade when we play the Asgard and Jotunheim arcs in the base game of Valhalla? We have the hidden blade available to us, don't we?
Yeah,
So it's continuing. It's consistent with that, even if perhaps there are other ways you could pick it apart. We saw Eivor glitching ever so slightly when she is struck by the arrow, um, which suggests to me that it's a simulation within the simulation. Like, oh, it's not a simulation. It's the regression of locked up memories that we're seeing within the Animus simulation, the same as Asgard and Jotunheim. Is that how you interpreted it?
similar. I interpret it to what we discussed in the Sisterhood, where a sage could have its memories triggered by a very painful event. So when at the very start of the game, Eivor was bitten by a wolf, it kicked off the sage because that's how Odin dies. He's killed by the wolf, which is why I'm angry that he fights Sutir. Because in mythology, it's not Odin that fights Suda. Odin fights Fenrir, which he should be fighting Fenrir. It makes sense from the Asgard arc, the Jotunheim arcs, for him to be fighting Fenrir, not Suter. So that's a niggle, but yeah, when I'm thinking how Sigurd was tortured and he lost his arm and then remembered he was Tyr, it could be that Eivor's in another battle, and even though she doesn't realize it, as she's fighting, and getting attacked, which eh, they'll have to work it right because you get shot a lot of times in Valhalla and you don't see memories. So there'll have to be a specific instance where she starts remembering memories. So maybe the battle is similar to the battle. So maybe like hypothetically, Ravensthorpe is under attack from an invading Viking force, which could be the ice from the north, and England Saxons, which could represent the heat because England is warmer than Norway, and then that symbolizes fire and ice, which could then remember Eivor as Odin, if that makes sense.
It does, and I suppose that we won't know until we play it. But it's whether they go. Well, they've done this already, haven't they? With Fate of Atlantis.
Yeah,
We don't know if Atlantis actually looked like that, and whether Poseidon, etc., looked like that, or was this Cassandra? Was she being presented with the images that would be familiar enough to her to not scare her through the staff? So, adapting what was truly the Isu world into the with sort of a Greek mythology overlay to make it seem familiar to her, or were we seeing truly what Atlantis looked like and Poseidon looked like and all the rest of the characters? Um, so we don't know, do we, whether we are seeing the true Ragnarok as it would have been experienced 75,000 years ago, or are we seeing a version of it that Eivor can understand because they're giving her that Norse myth overlay? Um, Maybe it will never be clarified. Who knows? What other parts popped out to you then?
um, the very Shadow of Mordor esque ability with the ice arrow that just suddenly appeared out of thin air. In Shadow of Mordor, the ranger, I can't remember his name, is imbued with an elf spirit. So when he's shoots his arrow, he's like merged. He goes into like a, I think it's corporeal form. So he's like half ghost, half human, shooting the arrow.
Understood.
So, um, it looks like it's going to incorporate fire and ice abilities. And now, what really hooked me is he seems to be able to absorb abilities using a gauntlet. So, it must be a piece of Eden. And where it got good is when he was able to resurrect one of the Melfheim soldiers. Makes sense because Melfheim is the underworld. So, resurrection,
Okay. Yeah.
which makes sense. So, basically, it's pure mythology goodness that will continue from Asgard and Jotunheim. I just have three glaring issues.
Go for it. Issue number one.
How do you convince people to buy it? Me, I'm sold.
Now we don't do leaks on this show.
No.
Now what I'm discussing is not a leak, but the price of the DLC has been published.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Because I don't want to spoil anything for you. Or if you'd rather not know, I won't tell you.
$40 is it?
Uh, Basically, yes. Yeah.
S-
That's a lot.
That's his
Well,
whole
actually,
season
let
pass.
me. That's probably not the right answer. If it's 30, 40, 50 hours of gameplay, is that a lot? I don't know. Of course, there's a separate discussion whether it's quality gameplay and a quality story. We don't know. If it's like a 10-hour DLC like Siege of Paris, Wrath of the Druids, I would say that's a lot of money. But if they're trying to make this almost like a standalone story, um, maybe that's not a lot. I'm personally am not convinced that I'll buy it. I have to say that right now. I'm gonna withhold judgment. Yeah, I mean that is a lot. What are your thoughts initially if it does turn out to be $40?
If it turns out to be $40, my hope is because it's only one DLC, that it's a hefty because the next update, which I can't access my Xbox at the moment, is shrinking the file size. So
It is, yeah.
what if it's like a 40 gigabyte update, which is the size of a game nearly, and that's what's going to sustain us all the way through year two? The content is so huge that it may be like a live service DLC that keeps updating for the rest of the year. So you may pay $40 and the first bit is like 15 hours, but in a month you may get 15 more hours added on. Then another month you may get
That's a
15
very
more
good point.
hours. So I think releasing March 10th, theoretically no delays, that gives us what, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 9 months of no content. I really think they're gonna stretch this out for 9 months. Look at how big it looks.
Mm,
Like
There's nothing to stop them adding content to the base game either.
no,
Whether
and
it's just more river raids or whether it's entirely new game modes, that's an option. But yeah, do you know what this expansion? It seems I don't know whether calling it a DLC really does it justice, but this expansion may have its own game modes as well. Um,
and you've seen how they were able, and I'm gonna say it's one of the best looking maps in the game, to add Asgard and Jotunheim, each with their own big story and cinematic set pieces, especially the boss battle at Fenrir.
yeah,
So it's and we saw how big Ireland and Francia is. I really don't think it's out the realms of the possible to them because if Asgard and Jotunheim are already in the game now, and they're going to use their maps as well, it's really cheap and simple to just blow the maps up big and combine them because you've got the maps in the game already. So
it's a good point. It's a good point. If you've got all the assets ready, why not? Why not? We'll know more, I guess, as we get nearer to the release date. Is it literally a fixed standalone? Play the story, maybe some side content, and then you're done, or yeah, does it become another platform for extra game modes? Um, so that was issue number one. Let me ask you issue number two on your issue list.
okay, this is very contradictory and I don't know the word hypocritical, but it looks too fantasy. Like I like it,
Yeah.
I'm literally just
Can I
going with
just ask you? Sorry to interrupt you. Hold that thought for 1 second.
yeah.
Just through the randomness of Twitter and Discord, how do you feel if Nerdy Archer drops into our recording and joins us for a bit?
Summon her. She's a great friend.
Awesome. I shall just message her the Zencaster link, and we shall carry on with three voices instead of two. That's the way it goes when you're doing this kind of thing live and unplanned, and you're in touch with nice people who you want to chat to. So this is great. Sorry, mate. So issue number 2 was: is it a bit? You worried it may be going a bit too much into the fantasy side?
Yeah, but just because of the trailer now, I've got the trailer back up, and I'm just gonna go back to where he gets shot with an arrow. We do have that beautiful, just music so I can talk to you.
Mm,
Cinematic fight, where he summons ice and it kills somebody. But you do get that lovely Isu letters, which still need to be decoded and probably will be, and Avor. But that's it. That's the only Isu we get. Is there going to be more Isus? What I'm mainly asking. Is there going to be an Isu lore to it, or is it
yeah,
just going to be because
yeah,
having Asgard and Jotunheim was perfect, and then you got the truth video on top of it.
yep.
It was just chef's kiss because you would inundate it with mythology, but then you got the truth that kind of showed this is the belief, the world that someone believes in. But hang on, this is what really happened, and that was just perfect. And the DLC needs to copy that.
Mm,
By rights, the
mm,
DLC needs, in my opinion, to give us that huge fantasy element through someone's belief systems,
yes.
but the heavy realism of Isu. This gauntlet isn't fantasy, it's a piece of Eden. It mimics.
Declan, we interrupt this live broadcast because player 3 has entered the game. Louise, welcome.
Louise, please
She
come
has
to
been summoned.
please come to mythology with me. I'm literally foaming at the
So
mouth and I'm
our original plan, Louise, and I don't mind admitting this to the listeners, we were going to do a live stream and sort of watch the trailers and react sort of visually, but my technical skills failed me. I couldn't get everything set up correctly, so we figured we'll just do a quick audio recording and we'll do it that way.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So have you watched both of the trailers, Louise?
I have. And
Cool. So
I've
we
watched.
can spoil away.
Yeah.
spoil away, spoil away.
So
I'm
Declan has watched the Ragnarok trailer because he'd been saving that for this evening,
Hmm.
and he was just going through. He's excited, I think that's fair to say, but he was just going through his concern list. That's where we're up to.
Cool.
so I've just apparently there's a PlayStation blog out already, which is like year two gods and crossovers. Apparently this is gonna be we've based the design of the Dwarven realm based on Norse sagas to create a documented mythological fantasy. Documented is key word there, in my opinion, and it's gonna be in Svartalfheim, is indeed vast. So ooh, we create a strong set allowing us to expand the story of Odin in their quest to save their beloved son. Bold here, but there's more to that, and one of our key objectives from the beginning is the design that was offering the players to potentially explore and investigate, providing them with a playground where they can engage with the world very different from what they enjoyed in the main game so far, and to experiment with all fresh new ingredients added to the gameplay. So, 40 quid could be a live service expansion that goes over the um over the entire year. So sorry, I just got distracted then.
You wait. Did you say Boulder?
Yeah,
Oh.
but it makes sense.
Isn't Balder Javi's son or something? I read
Yeah.
somewhere today or early yesterday.
But
Yeah. It's the one that's mentioned in all the animus fragments and all the stuff that you do as Layla or Batu
Oh,
that Loki killed.
yeah,
oh shit!
So
but
Right.
that's got me thinking of whether or not it's going to end up being something to do with the Isu human war. Like they start slotting that into it as well.
Do you know what, Louise? I'm really glad you're here because I know almost nothing about Norse mythology. So it's great that you and Declan can actually talk about this with some authority, grounded in what the Norse truly believed.
I think,
Professional nerd, you're welcome.
and it's thank you so much to Louise for this. So I'm glad to hear. I read the what was the
Oh,
book? Do
Neil
you know the book?
Gaiman's retelling,
There
the
you go.
one that I recommended like a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes, I've read that, and this is where like I'm gonna literally drop on the floor now and just drool of goodness. He claimed that Norse mythology is full of contradictions to the stories. Now listen to this. With the odds stacked against him and his son Balder held captive by the Jotnar, Odin will have to travel to Svartalfheim to enlist the aid of the dwarves if he's to save the Nine Realms from all-out destruction. As Neil Gaiman claimed, a lot of Norse mythology contradicts itself. Are they building a new tale in Norse mythology based on Isu? Because Balder isn't captured by the Jotnar. His mom asked every living creature to protect him from being killed, but she never talked to the mistletoe. So Loki gave a mistletoe dart to his blind brother, but I can't remember his name, who
Holder.
Holder, who gave it to Holder, who threw it and killed Balder. Then Hel refused to give Balder's soul back unless everyone wept for him, and it was Loki who didn't, which led to Loki's imprisonment and then Ragnarok. I think I'm summing up. So, does it sound in Louise, in your opinion, that they're creating their own Norse myth inside Norse myth?
Um, I'm not entirely sure. Because it could be. Like, obviously, every retelling of myth is going to have some element of creative writing and originality with it. But there's also that concept of, just using what you have. It's like, we can't exactly go back and ask the Norse about their own myths. And obviously, we're talking about a franchise that has, like, sci-fi elements in it and time travel, basically. And Kassandra is also immortal. Let's not forget that.
Or
True.
we shall come to Cassandra, do not worry.
Oh, yes, we will. We will. I have many thoughts. But no, it's that sort of transient thing with mythology that you just keep retelling tales, but they're all going to be slightly different. I'm quite excited to see it. Like, I'm intrigued. I'm not as excited as the other announcement tonight, but I am still pretty, like, cautiously hopeful.
Good summary. Yeah.
So I think what kind of trails onto the final complaint I have with the trailer.
Okay. Yep.
It's a
Let's listen.
stupid
Let's hear
one.
it.
Suitor.
The big dude with the flaming sword.
Hmm.
In my opinion, Suitor should have not been immortalized as an Isu. He should have stayed as an interpretation of the Toba catastrophe because he's, a giant flaming god with a flaming sword that
Well,
cleanses the atmosphere.
let me challenge you there a little bit. No, I would say that nothing we've seen on screen in that very brief 2-minute trailer suggests that what we're seeing on screen is literal. It could still be Avor's mushroom induced fever dream. Yes, she's reliving the Toba catastrophe,
Because
but with that
there's,
layer of Norse filtering or Norse mythology
yeah,
creativity.
because there's a point that Valorian Rue pointed out to me when we were discussing it.
Mm,
There's a point where Odin Harvey gets shot, but it flickers to Eivor for just a brief
yes.
second,
And we
like
see
she's
Isu
feeling that pain.
language.
Yeah. Has anyone decoded that yet? Because
I
I'd be
mean,
No.
really
Access the
intrigued to
Animus, we
see
are
what that
counting on
says.
you.
Ooh, ooh, new details. Is anyone up for some new details?
Bring it.
Yes.
Okay. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's next major expansion, Dawn of Ragnarok, leaves heavily into the Asgard fantasy that played a vital part in the first year, aiming to provide over 35 hours of new content across a collection of Norse realms that are roughly 1/3 the size of England.
That's pretty
30,
big.
35 hours for 40 quid?
And that's just base game, I'm
Uh,
assuming.
no,
That's
that's for the
probably
DLC. So if the
yeah, but that's like
DLC's
the main story of the DLC. It doesn't
yeah,
include like side quests or photo mode or going to get collectibles.
true.
That's not bad.
For 40 quid, I would have.
Now,
I
now
wouldn't
we're
mind.
talking like we were saying just before you joined, Louise, about the likely cost or the leaked or rumored cost, and did we
Mm,
think that was good value? And I said if this was the size of Siege of Paris or Wrath of the Druids, no. But if there's a good story and there's plenty to do, and I'll be honest, I'm a little more interested in quality of story rather than just quantity of stuff.
yeah,
That's
I felt
starting to sound more interesting.
yeah, I felt like that's been a very big criticism, particularly with Siege of Paris and Wrath of the Druids, that the story just feels like it's rehashing the same thing and that Eivor isn't actually learning or progressing
Mm,
going forward.
mm.
It's like kind of ignoring their own lore and sort of progression in a way. But I'll be intrigued to see if they do that again with, you know, this one, or if they are actually going to be like, no, she's actually learnt stuff, guys, I promise.
I would like to see that. I would like to see her finish this. Let's call it a mushroom induced fever dream. I would like to see her emerge from it with a level of wisdom or a new outlook on life or new direction. But let's see. Let's see.
I
Yeah.
kind of also wanted to come out with acceptance. Like, during the main game, she doesn't really accept Odin. She doesn't really
Mm,
accept that she's a
Mm.
sage. She even doubts it when Sigurd is going on about it. She doubts it in the fight with Basim. I would love her just to accept that, um, the the part of like, oh, okay, you know what, the gods are real, and I want, and it sounds far fetched, I know, but her to look at a statue of Odin, Thor, or anyone, and reality to break down mentally. So she is used to seeing beliefs of this is Odin, this is Thor, so it look like, but it breaks down and she sees the truth. Like, this is Isu. She looks around and she can imagine the world, how she would imagine it through the eyes of someone who believes that this world from Midgard looks like this through Norse mythology, but it starts to fade into that Isu's sci-fi look. So huts that she would have thought that Odin visited turns into big glass buildings. You know what I mean? That sort of
Mm.
reality switches for her. She's gone from thinking that everything's a mythology, but it's not. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You also touched on something that I found kind of a concern as well, particularly concerning Odin, because she rejected him pretty much. It's I'll be intrigued, or I'm slightly I'll wait and see what they do with that. Like that idea of like she has very vehemently said like no, I don't agree with you and I don't agree with your ideals, even if that sort of contradicts like what a Viking lifestyle is probably going to be, but it's not Eivor, right? So what if it comes to it and what if she has to actually agree with him? Like, is she going to get agency in her decisions? Is it just, it's, I don't want them to go back on and reverse like her character growth doing this. Like, I'm all for mythology, guys, but like, I'm also very much Eivor having her own decision and not just letting Odin win because it's more convenient for plot reasons.
That's true. I know James is feeling left out here.
I'm not at all. As always, like when we're chatting, Declan, and or when we have guests on, and there's more than two of us chatting, I just like listening. So you carry on.
I was just gonna say that, like, one thing I noticed a ton is technically Odin and Eivor are not different. Every time you saw them in the cutscene, and it's why I like clicked on straight away, like, oh, that must be Eivor in Odin form. Odin is just saying stuff that Eivor's thinking herself. You know what I mean? It's not like in her mind when she sees him that Odin's there as a separate entity. It's like he's just voicing that part of her that is doubtful. Maybe things would be easier if I did this. So I know she regressed him in the end, and I think that might be more of like not regressing the sage, but that side of you. Like if people have grief or trauma, they can regress a certain emotion. Just move past it. So I kind of always assume that she's just pushing past who she is to be somebody else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
So, should we react to the second one?
Oh God, yes.
Yes.
Now I
So,
believe, Declan, that you may have had a sneaky early view. Is that right?
yeah, the 1st of December, the Mentals Guild got sneak preview.
It's just, if you're listening to this, right, I'm a massive Odyssey fan, and Declan, I totally respect you because, hey, those NDAs are important. He never breathed a word, I promise you.
Mm.
And let me tell the story. So I was sitting at my desk. I was still at work. I mean, the announcement was 5 o'clock UK time. So I'm here in my office. I've got a customer meeting. So I was getting ready for that. And I was thinking, what am I going to do? Fortunately, the customer meeting took about 10 minutes. It was over quickly. On my right here is my my sort of spare telly. And I had the YouTube app running on it. So I finished work. Right. Ragnarok trailer. Okay. I'm going to give my reaction here to the Ragnarok trailer. I'm going to be honest, not that bothered. Yeah, what can I say? I don't know. It's so far it's not grabbing me, and I'll probably wait till nearer the time. Maybe if we learn a bit more about the story, whether I play it or not. Being sort of a little bit facetious, Horizon Forbidden West releases 10 days before this, I think, and I shall be kicking the arse out of that game for a long, long time. So, do you know what, Declan, from a podcast research point of view, we may be leaning on you more heavily for a discussion about this new expansion, because I should be having some fun with Aloy and various machines in Horizon Forbidden West. So anyway, I watched the trailer and I thought, all right, yeah, whatever, it's fine. And do you remember we were speaking with Andy a couple of months ago, and he asked us our opinions on the different game modes, the expansions, and the point I made to him back then is, and it's a point that returns to me now, this is Valhalla, it almost isn't a game, it's a platform of its own right. There's a lot of content in Valhalla, not all of it needs to be for me, and at the moment this doesn't feel like content for me, and that's fine, that's absolutely fine. So I watched the trailer, thought, great, okay, that's that done, not that bothered. And then on the sort of YouTube, you get your recommended next video, that on the end screen there was something with Ava and Kassandra. What the fuck? So I flicked over to that, and what can I tell you? I don't think I've ever been this excited about a
Yeah.
story release or a game release. I did tweet earlier, which was I've never been so happy since Arno and Elise kissed in the balloon, which I think is a fair summary.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that connection with Odyssey, because I only played it probably 5 months after it was released. I had no knowledge of the story or the characters. I'd seen no trailers. I just went into the Odyssey cold, played it, fell in love with it. Kassandra's awesome. I'm a total Odyssey fanboy. It's fine. I don't mind admitting that. But for me, this is the first time of seeing new content for Kassandra, and I'm just so happy to hear her voice again, to see Varnabas and Herodotus again. It's just fantastic. It's fantastic. And may I just also make a point? This is a trailer that has Kassandra and Eivor.
Yes,
Not
exactly the point I was
Alexios
going to bring
and
up.
Javi. Louise, take it away.
That was exactly the point I was going to bring up. Like, these are the two games where you can pick your protagonist, and for the main trailer release, because it's slightly different for some of the press photos, but for the main trailer, they've done the creative decision to use the canonical characters, i.e. the
Yes.
women. I'm very much that Saoirse Ronan gif from Little Women, just women. I'm so full of love right now.
Yeah, I can't wait. And it's the 13th of December. It's now 9:35.
It's tomorrow. It's in
tomorrow.
like 3 hours time.
What is it?
Potentially.
1 p.m. Central European time. It becomes available.
Also,
there is a
that's noon UK.
noon. I may be an hour out. So don't quite. Obviously, people listening to this are going to do their own research, and
Yeah.
the episode will be out hopefully later tonight. Although it may be a longer episode than we thought. That's fine. So yeah, I mean, trust me, I should be finishing work as fast as possible, and I may have to get other people in the house here to cook and do other jobs while I get into Odyssey and get on with playing this new story. I cannot wait. I am so happy.
And it's all free for everyone, these
Yes,
2 crossover
yes.
stories. So there's one coming for Odyssey, which is going to be Kassandra. I think it's shortly after she gets her immortality. Or it looks very like it's around that time period of the main game. Particularly if, like, Herodotus
It
and
must be because
Barnabas are
they're
there. Yeah.
yes. Do you know what would be interesting? And now we're heading into Mega Odyssey nerd territory. So one of the very last, I think it was last lost tale of Greece
Mm-hmm.
was a story for Herodotus. He goes back to the island, which, damn it, right now I can't remember. Was it Chaos? Skir? Doesn't matter. There's an island out to the east of the map where we travel with Herodotus. We solve, I think it's a family argument between him and his brother. Geez, my memory is rusty. And when you complete that lost tale, if I recall correctly, Herodotus remains on the island and he's no longer with you. Now, again, we're heading into nerd territory. It doesn't matter if he should be on the Adrestia with you and Barnabas or not. But I'll be interested to know, where does it slot in, Louise? Is there can we? I mean, again, this is for the AC Wiki editors to figure out. Can we slot this story into what we know about Kassandra's timeline? Has she, as you say, she's probably already got the staff. She probably needs it to protect her from the abilities or the powers of the whatever she's going after, which we don't quite know yet. But yeah, I'd be interested to know where Herodotus' story fits into that timeline.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a little nerd note that I spotted. Louise, what were your other sort of feelings and reactions about that trailer?
Well, oh god, I spent all day just screaming out this trailer and now I can't voice any of it.
I tell you what, while you think, I'm just going to make a very quick comment on the point of Kassandra and Eivor being in the trailer. So my eldest daughter has played Odyssey, I think, through 3 times. She loves it. She played as Kassandra. Happy days.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And she watched the trailer and she got a bit emotional, which is great.
Also
And
same.
And then she said, nothing against Lexios players, but I'm so glad it's Kassandra and Eivor. And I was like, yep, damn right, girl. Damn right. So, Louise, back to you.
That basically was me. I was on a call with Rue at the time the trailer dropped, or the time we got to see the trailer for the first time, and we were in tears. Like, it was like 2 a.m. Australian time. We were both in tears. Like, this means more than people think it means, and it was just quietly dropped on the internet. Like, it wasn't like they showcased the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC and then put on the big hullabaloo for the crossover stories. It was just like, oh yeah, and we did this thing that you're going to be way more excited about and is way more important.
There's one of the dev team members that I follow on Twitter who I'm going to try and look up while I speak and cover myself for 30 seconds while I quickly search for it. She posted a link to the trailer and just went, surprise. And I was like, oh my God. She must have had so much fun writing that simple tweet and then posting that out.
Like,
I can't find it right now, but if you listen to this, and you probably don't, but if you do listen to this, you know who you are. And that was a great tweet. Thank you so much.
Because what can you say at that point? It's just like, well, you thought that was everything? Haha, bamboozled.
Yeah.
Have something that is way more exciting and way more conversible and like, let's be honest, it also got partially spoiled, but did anyone expect the other one?
No.
Like, everyone was sort of expecting that, let's be honest, the character model for Kassandra got spoiled at least a year ago.
Say again, the character?
The in the game files, people found
her
model like a year ago.
Yeah.
So there's always something. But no, I don't think anyone expected an update for Odyssey at the same time.
No, not at all. I thought that game was done.
Yeah.
We should probably let Declan speak because he's had his hand up for about 20 minutes. Declan, mate.
Oh, it's fine. I'm just finding it amusing that nobody's picked up on one of the most amusing features of the trailer.
The crossover trailer.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
The whole meme for ages would be like, oh, it looks like Ramvit. And Ava, I remember we got a link and Ubisoft has said I can talk about it because it's public, so I'm free. I like to ask permission. I was like, can I talk about it? But on the first, we got little sneak egg eyes. This is what we're working on. And when watching that, I think I died. Oh, this is epic. I had minor issues with it at first, and I still do. But overall, I thought this is like the best thing to happen. Like, this is the best crossover ever, and I really can't wait to buy Odyssey next year to play it. But I know I'll be playing the
Oh
Valhalla
man.
one soon. But
So so this is an interesting point. Now I'm going to assume, just from the point of view of chronology, because Varnabas is still alive, so therefore, this is taking place, as you said, Louise, perhaps very soon after she's got the staff.
Yeah.
Maybe it's around 422 BCE when the canonical story in the novel ends, or a few years later. Doesn't exactly matter, but it's taking place many years before Eivor is born. Has there been any notification from Ubisoft on whether you should play these two stories in chronological order for them to make sense, or it doesn't matter, just go play them, it's fine?
That's a very good point.
um,
Because
I think I don't know. It's a hard one. I think
I know there's information we're not allowed to say about it.
yes. I think
Not like
For God's sakes, don't get yourselves in trouble. We'll just skip over that.
obviously not. It's
I,
like
I,
it's not like world-ending information, but it's like important details we can't say.
I think
Understood.
the best way I can put it, because of who Kassandra is and what she is to the franchise, I think she's flexible. As in, there isn't an order, because technically, if you've played Odyssey's campaign all the way through, which I can't wait to replay, then playing Valhalla first makes sense. The only detail you won't understand unless they explain it in both of them is how she got the hidden blade. So that might be a
How
bit
Cassandra got the hidden blade.
yes.
It's
Okay, I
also
have
in the
some.
image of the promo image
Yes,
of the two of them
yes.
looking at each other.
She must have
One
got
thing
it
I
from Darius. Or
But
maybe, I
yeah,
mean, mind you, 1,200 years has passed, hasn't it? So I'm sure she had a chance. Maybe she got it from Aya. I
but
mean, look, just
also
don't.
it's also a hidden blade on the inside of her arm,
yes,
so it's
and
not
she's
like the
got
Darius style one.
Oh, yes,
and
good
she's
point.
got all of her fingers.
That was a bad time to be sipping my water. Oh my god, yes, you're absolutely right.
So it will be pre Ezio, well, no, pre Altair Codex hidden blade, but unless you can chop off a finger and the staff grows it back, I don't know. But
Good point.
there is a line
She
that's
probably found a
key.
Shroud of Eden while she was doing her travels and just healed a finger that way.
I think you meant to play, just looking after the trailer quickly, Valhalla first, because in the trailer, Ava goes to stab Cassandra in the face with a hidden blade, and at the same time, it looks like she's holding Avar's hidden blade, and Avar's holding Cassandra's hidden blade, and she just say, "Looks like there are some things to talk about." So I would say probably Valhalla first, because I think they're going to discuss why they're both working for the hidden ones, if that makes sense.
I disagree.
Ooh.
I'm a vehement fan of chronological order,
Yeah, huh?
so I'm very much like it makes me wonder whether or not they're gonna have stuff referenced in Valhalla, but they won't explain it, and it will only make sense if you've played Odyssey first.
But
I'm going to give you my totally non-law educated answer. I'm going to play Odyssey first because I need no excuse to go back to the world of Greece. It's just beautiful. And so, even though Cassandra's character model might be more interesting, and of course, Eivor versus Cassandra is going to be great, I'm going back to Greece first. Then I'll go to rainy, grim England, or is it Scotland? Later. That's my non-professional answer.
I think that there is two issues though with this trailer that I would like to address, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The first issue is, who has Odyssey? Like, not to be a thing, but a lot of people don't buy these games chronologically. So there may be some people who don't have Odyssey who are going to look at the
They'll
crossover trailer and be like,
Yeah,
oh.
well, there'll absolutely be people who are playing Valhalla as their first Assassin's Creed game because they
Yeah.
were They were brought into it by the whole like a Viking. They're playing it as a Viking raider game. And I want to be clear, I'm saying that non-judgmentally. You play this game, you role play this game how you like.
Yeah, my
The
flatmate.
Assassin's Creed bit is if that's what you're not interested in, that's fine.
Yeah, my
Go on,
flatmate
Louise.
basically did that. Odyssey was their very first game. They got into it because of the Greek mythology thing. We're ancient history students at
Yes.
university. They got in because of the history and the mythology side of it, rather than it being an AC game.
Mm,
And I know there are
mm,
people who played Valhalla for exactly the same reason, that it's the Vikings. It is the Last Kingdom
yeah.
period,
Yeah.
basically.
So what I would say then, Declan, is yes, there'll be people who have played Valhalla. They own no other Assassin's Creed games. That's the reason why Ubisoft are making Odyssey available free to play this weekend. So from the 17th to the 19th, exact timings, I don't know. There must be an article about it and about exact time zones. But yes, Odyssey will
Oh,
be free to play on all platforms from the 17th to the 19th.
somebody
This has
shoot
generated
me.
a lot of chat on the Odyssey subreddit, I can tell you. Just as a side note, I'm one of the moderators on the Odyssey subreddit. I spend a lot of time there. And yeah, a lot of people are just asking for clarification about, do I need to reinstall the game? Because Odyssey is a 90 gigabyte roughly download, and
Hmm.
people don't have that much space, especially console players where you tend to have a bit more restricted storage. That's a massive fire game to download if you've deleted it over the last year or two because you've moved on to other games. There's no easy answer to that. If you want to play the story, you're going to have to download all of Odyssey. There is an Odyssey patch. Now, the patch does include a couple of fixes, which are interesting. It's not just new content. The fixes are minor, but I was surprised to see that they are still sort of fixing very minor things. They're adding one very minor thing about fast travel points as well. So, there's an awful lot going on in the world of Odyssey, which makes me happy.
I think I've just looked at the date and I don't play console on the weekends because Friday I'm editing podcasts. There's no point putting the console on, give the TV to my partner. And I don't usually turn it back on to Mondays because the weekends is like iron and everything. So I miss Odyssey's free weekend. So yay! I
That's
won't
a
be able to
shame.
play. I won't be able to play Odyssey's content till I can buy the game next year, which I may scrap so I can now save up for the DLC. That's fine. Um,
The good
my
thing about that is, though, that it's not time limited.
True,
yes,
true. The
that's the
story
best
is
thing.
there
So it's not
forever.
like if you don't play it this weekend, you can't play it at all, or it's not going to be like it disappears with the Yule Festival.
No, I think that's one of the best bonuses ever. It means people can always come back to it in the future.
And it's free.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I think I'm just going to give my last complaint slash issue,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one that dates back all the way since Odyssey's launch and one that Valhalla fixed. Problem is, genuinely, Valhalla has the safest male slash female choice by making Ava 100% canonical. Male is Harvey slash Odin. Odyssey doesn't have that, and we know that
No.
Kassandra is technically canonical from the novel, and that's great. But the issue I have slightly is you can play Odyssey's DLC because of how Odyssey works as Alexios, but then you're playing Valhalla's as Kassandra, and it just has that little issue where this male female choice system is not a very good idea in the long run. Like, some people will really be playing the whole of Odyssey as Alexios, but when they come to Valhalla, they have to play it as Kassandra, which is like, well, that's not my character. My character was Alexios. And it just has that small issue of, with these games, you should not be doing male choice. You should have just stuck with Kassandra as the 100% canonical character. She is for the novel. There's no explanation why she can't have been for Odyssey. Similar with Valhalla. So my just little niggle is that the whole choice system has completely backfired with this crossover in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2022 in 3 weeks. I
Yeah.
think it's time that we had a female lead in our own game without a choice.
Yeah, like
Whoa there, Louise. Whoa,
no,
steady, steady.
I want it.
I'm
What
not
I want,
sorry.
I just like to clarify, I am being sarcastic there. Louise is absolutely right.
what I expected from Odyssey's choice, and I know I was expecting too much, was two stories. I thought if you played Alexios, you were going to get
Yes.
Deimos' story, and if you
Yes.
played Cassandra, you got Odyssey's story. Similar to how if you
That would be
play,
cooler. I think
It
that'd be
would have been
far
cool.
cooler.
And we very briefly got that. If there's one of the quests when Layla is starting to experience the
Oh
bleeding
yeah,
effect, when she's bleeding into Alexios as Demos memories, and it's flipping brilliant.
it's
Um,
terrifying, but it's cool.
it is, and she kind of unlocks a bit of. Well, she gets. I guess that's where she gets that rage from that she then uses, unfortunately, to kill Victoria Bebo. But anyway, um, it's you are right. I mean, Odyssey. That is the trickiest part of Odyssey, isn't it? Now, what we've learned is that what the development team and the writing team wanted and what we got are two very different things.
It's
I
great to
mean,
see though that they're now getting what they want. It's like
yes,
they
yes,
wanted Kassandra as the canonical character, and this is the first time that it's happened,
yeah,
and has made it
yeah,
to release.
yeah. True,
I
true.
will I will admit, and I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but I played Odyssey as Lexios for 2 hours when I
Why should
first
you be
got it.
embarrassed, mate? Don't be
Oh
embarrassed.
no, you'll laugh at this. And after 2 hours, I deleted the save file because Odyssey didn't feel right because I had Odyssey's novel, so I was reading the novel,
Gotcha.
and as I was playing and reading the novel at the same time because I was trying to build the Odyssey game as I read the book, so it was like canonical to the book,
Mm.
which if you can do, I
I
would
just want to say,
recommend it.
just a quick shout out. You did an episode about this a long time ago,
Yeah.
where you talked through Odyssey's canonical story, and I really enjoyed that episode.
Well, that's
I've
what
never gone back and done a canonical playthrough. I've always got a slightly non-canon ending, but that episode was great. Just want to
Do you
say
want to
that.
know what's hilarious?
Mm.
This week I was supposed to be having an episode on Cassandra come out that I'm having to completely rewrite
Oh no,
just so we
Louise!
know what happens in these.
It's just so selfish of Ubisoft not to consider your podcast planning, really.
To be honest, I think doing the canonical story for Cassandra was so good. Like, it felt weird at first because playing as Alexios because it was just so used. I will admit, I was so used to Assassin's Creed being a male protagonist, but reading the book, I was like, well, it kind of doesn't feel right being Alexios when I'm reading Cassandra. So I was like, I've got to play Cassandra, and I
Do
loved
you
it. I was like, this fitted so well. Why wasn't Cassandra the first actual
Mm.
proper character?
I played as Cassandra, and I'll tell you the reasons why I chose Cassandra. Again, like I didn't know the history of the development of this game. The outside world didn't know the news from inside of Ubisoft at that point. And I picked Cassandra for two reasons. The first reason was um, the male choice to me in ancient Greece would be the obvious choice for a soldier because
Mhm.
generally it was men that fought as hoplites, although of course she's not a hoplite, but whatever. And I thought, play as the woman, subvert expectations. Let's role play as perhaps the outsider or the less likely protagonist. But also, my kids used to watch me play, and I wanted them. I've got two daughters. I wanted them to see a woman kicking some butt
Hell
in a
yeah.
video game. So
I
that was
love
my
that.
reason for choosing. And I've played Cassandra through maybe 4 or 5. I have done a playthrough of Alexios where I did a new game plus,
I
kind of sprinted
haven't.
through the story. Yeah, it's fine. And
Yeah.
he, the,
My
he,
flatmate played through as Alexios, so I sat and watched them.
okay, yeah,
So it's like I have, but vicariously.
that counts. It's good enough.
But like, I picked Cassandra for one term. That woman's arms.
They are pretty strong. Now, before this podcast becomes a very much an after dark episode, let's.
Bonk.
I think for me, I only picked um yeah, I only picked Cassandra in the end because I wanted to follow the book. I was like, I think
Makes sense.
I said to my partner because I pre-ordered Odyssey. I said to her, and she knew she doesn't like Assassin's Creed as I do, and I was like, I'm so pissed off. She was like, why? I was like, I have to buy a stupid book to make this game canonical. I was like, I just want
Mm,
to play the game and enjoy it. She was like, so what
mm.
character you picking? I was like, I'll pick Alexios just because, see what it's like. And then an hour in, I was like, well, I've just read about Cassandra meeting Cyclops. This doesn't feel right. Let's start again.
I'm.
And
I'm. It, it. Is it really weird that I'm kind of glad that you felt like that? Hear me out though. Like in the way that so many people would have had that read the book and got angry. It's like, why isn't this Alexios rather than why I'm glad to see that it is Cassandra who's canonical and it's made me rethink my choice versus, oh no, what's the point in adding a woman in if the correct canonical person is a dude?
I never looked at it. I just kind of. I think
Yeah.
I'm just one of these people, and it's not like I'm trying to be dickish. I don't actually have a preference unless it's an MMO where you create your own character because I like to play as like build it off me. But in games, I don't have a preference to what I want the character to be. So if you're gonna give me a character that's a female lead, I'm not gonna be like, oh, oh. I'm like, all right, cool, let's get the story going. Come on, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
So
It's like Syndicate. I was fine with both of the twins.
Mm,
Like I think a
mm.
full Lydia game would be cool, but like having
Oh,
both
don't!
of the
I've just
twins with a
played that.
great.
I've played that sequence for the first time, as you know, just a few days ago, and it's just the World War One sequence. I want more. Is there more? There's no more. For God's sakes, I want more. Anyway, different. That's do you
What's
know
that
what, Declan?
sound? It's Louise quote opening a Word document.
Yeah. Oh, all right, all right, Declan. I think we could do with an episode of the three of us getting back together in the new year to talk about Lydia Fry. I would very much like to do that
Yes.
episode.
oh, see, this is
We'll put it on the planning spreadsheet.
this is the whole problem that me and my girlfriend have been discussing the past week. We have such limited resources, and I can only afford one thing at a time, and I'm trying to like save up for Elden Ring because it's the next big game that I've got my eyes on. But I'm sat there like, I need the Ezio collection because I've not played it since Ezio games last came out. I need Syndicate because I haven't played Syndicate since it last came out. I'm like, this show in 2022 is going to get so hard because I've got so many games I need to replay but can't. Like, I don't even have the time to replay all this, but I
Well,
need to
that I
replay
mean
them.
that is the thing. Like I've been working on a little plan between now and the release of Forbidden West, which is last week of February. Doesn't matter, something like that. I want to replay Syndicate because I played it a year and a half ago and I've forgotten details, and I want to record the story for my own sort of little project. And try and get for 100. I 100%ed Unity, and I feel like it'd be quite nice to 100% both of those initiate duology games,
Yeah.
which is quite a big task because damn, Unity's map was big and had a lot of things to do, but Syndicates might be even bigger. Anyway, so I was going to do that. My daughter is begging me to play Jedi Fallen Order. She finished it a few weeks ago, so I've told her I will promise I will play the main story of that. And I'm just running out of time between now and Forbidden West to fit in all the games I want to play.
Oh God, I
But I also
know.
kind of, as soon as the Odyssey trailer, or the what do they call it, the crossover story trailer, I was thinking, shit, I could start a new game of Odyssey. Odyssey's great. I love Odyssey. I could go straight back into the world of Greece and do that as like a warm up, but there's just not enough time. It's just a
Yeah.
shame. Anyway, I know it's a first world problem. Not enough time to play video games, but
It's like
yeah,
you'd
I
think
feel
being a
your pain.
student.
Say again,
You'd,
Louise. Sorry.
you'd think being a student I had all of this free time, but I have no free time.
I'm sure you're a very diligent and hardworking student who is studying.
Who is also doing competitions and applications for stuff at exactly the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And various costume manufacturing and writing and all your other side projects.
Oh, don't start. I got defeated by a shirt sleeve today. It was such a Monday problem.
I wish I could sympathize. I sympathize. I just don't understand anything about clothes. Sleeves are tricky, though. Apparently, I have heard that.
The sleeve was fine. It was the cuff that was the problem.
Ah, okay.
It no longer ended up as a sleeve because it had no like armhole.
Did you sew the end up?
I did.
Brilliant. Stitches can be unpicked. I've seen it. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry, I derailed that really badly.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Hey, we like a chat. What do we do? So we've spoken about the Dawn of Ragnarok. Would you call it a teaser trailer? It kind of is, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't know the story. We don't know the framing of how we're going to end up in this mythical realm. We've seen a few little glimpses. I can't wait to see the translation of the Isu text. Declan and Louise, do you have anything else you want to kind of say about Dawn of Ragnarok?
Does anybody want my soul so I can get the DLC?
You could always sell a kidney. You've got 2 kidneys, mate. You can live on one. Just sell a kidney.
Sell a kidney? I'm already threatening to sell a kidney so I can buy Elden Ring and the new Marvel's Midnight Sun game and another year of Game Pass, which I think I'm getting at Christmas off my mother-in-law so I can play Stardew Valley.
Would you get Odyssey as part of the Game Pass?
No, none of the Assassin's games are on there, sadly. So yeah, at the moment, my kidney is being sold for a lot of things, and
Yeah, that's
eventually I want
tricky,
to
mate.
sell my kidney so I can buy all Assassin's Creed games on my Xbox. So I'm probably going to have to find somebody who's willing to buy. I'm size 11, so I can sell my foot. I don't need two. The records
Oh my god. There's be nothing left of you, mate.
my right eye is weaker than my left, so you can have my right eye.
Oh dear. No. Oh, you tell it. Yes, I guess you'll sort of be mirroring Javi then. Why not?
Exactly.
Left eye.
Oh, left eye.
I
Yeah.
want to cosplay as a opposite Javi. So if you've got spare cash lying around, you can have my right eye.
All right. All right. What
Any
about
more
you,
cash?
Louise? Final thoughts on Dawn of Ragnarok?
Eh?
Very similar to mine. Then it sounds
I
like.
like
Yeah.
how everyone is been like, me. Declan's like, hey, give me now. Literally,
But
take my soul. I will have it. But
that's where the balance comes from, mate. You're dead excited. Me and Louise are kind of, we'll see.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
I'm
just
just
like, I'm just more excited for like the lore reveals more than anything. I'm just,
Mm,
if anything comes
mm,
up for like the Isu and stuff, it's like, okay, maybe I'll be interested.
yeah.
Ace is what I'm really hoping for because there has to be Ace connection. But do I get to punch a flaming god in the face as an assassin? I'm not gonna complain. Do I get like hidden blades and Jotunans? I'm not gonna complain. I want some Isu lore, but I just don't want. I really just hope the next games give us more interest in Assassins versus Templar stories instead of mythology. I do love it, and this trilogy has been one of the best of the franchise, in my opinion. But I do want to get back to some, nitty gritty, hide
Mm.
in the shadows, kill some Templars, and even a game where the Templars don't actually lose, and it's Assassins that lose.
Ooh.
Oh, that's for next year. I'm discussing that more next year. But yeah, I'm happy for another mythology game DLC, and I'll play it like hell. But
Mm, mm.
just hope this is the end of it for the moment, because I do want to go back to nitty gritty, hide in the shadows, Assassins vs Templars, because I'm flexible. If it has AC, I'm playing it.
Very good, mate. Very good.
Mm.
All right. So, are we getting back together next week to do like a Kassandra story breakdown? I mean, I know Declan, you won't have played it, which is very sad. But Louise and I will have. I could go and join Louise for her show. Actually, we could do like a Kassandra. I'm kidding, mate. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to you.
Just 2 hours of me sobbing over just
Yeah.
Cass.
Look
Just
how beautiful she is. Works for me.
I'm if my console can update, because I've got no batteries left, so I'm gonna have to wait till Wednesday to get batteries on my Xbox. Seriously,
Oh,
whoever
damn it.
thought keeping AAA batteries in a controller was not smart.
Can you not charge up your controller? My
Nope.
PS5, you plug the controller in with a USB cable and it charges up.
No, because bigwigs were, hey, it's 2021, we're going to give you a console that's super powerful, but you need Duracell AA batteries to make your
Ah,
controller work.
damn.
that makes no sense. That makes no sense at all.
That is my Xbox Series S for people. We
It's a
have,
shame.
you can buy wired controllers, you can buy £20 rechargeable batteries that go into it,
Yeah.
which makes it a rechargeable controller, but I don't have 20 quid lying around, so I'm resorting to
Mm,
Poundland batteries.
damn.
And I
Well,
swear to
Louise, you're PS4, right?
I am, yeah.
So for you, is it same as me? You plug in the controller to charge up, or
Yeah,
is it?
pretty much the
Yeah.
same. Yeah, you can use it as a wired controller, but it's wireless. You just charge it plugged
Gotcha.
in.
Gotcha.
the magic life. I think though, I would love to get together after New Year to talk about the crossover in Valhalla, because that one's gonna be most intrigued.
You'll be able to play that one tomorrow.
I'm gonna say Thursday because one, I'm probably gonna have to delete my entire hard drive just to download the next update.
It's huge, isn't it? It's 80
It's uninstalling the
gigabytes.
entire game to make it more compact,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Which terrifies me because I know that some mentors have already had issues with downloading the update where their items have disappeared.
Oh
What? Like
no!
like items in your inventory? You mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, not in your PlayStation or Xbox
No,
entry of games, but
in-game
in.
items like
Oh
swords
shit!
and stuff.
Oh no!
Happy
Okay,
days.
I don't even have time to update it tomorrow because my kids are at home. I'm gonna have to. I'm crying inside, people. So yes, I will be playing it eventually. Is the moral of my story. When Declan's real life gets around it, I will be playing it eventually. I promise, and we could talk about it.
Awesome, mate. Looking forward to it.
But this week we got over exciting episode to talk about.
It's been a hell of an evening, I'll tell you. I've never been
I
so
know.
excited.
I know.
I've picked up my jaw. My girlfriend's gonna wake up like, thank goodness he's gonna not talk about it anymore. And I'm just relieved that after 12 days, I can finally say, yeah, crossovers is a thing. I've known about it for 12 days and I've told nobody, and that is difficult.
Yeah, I thought for a minute, because it wasn't revealed straight away, that wasn't the reveal that was happening today. So I sat there like, I really want to tell this one friend who's like, I know will be super excited, but I can't. And then we saw the trailer and it was like, yo, this is the thing. This is a thing. Go watch the thing.
To be honest, when I got to do the sneak preview, I had to pick the 10 o'clock slot because that's the only time I'm kind of alive. And the girlfriend was like sitting there. I was like, just gonna like go sit in the corner so you can't see my laptop screen because you know NDA stuff, and just I like hid in a corner with the like laptop hunched over so she couldn't see the screen, so I'm not breaking NDAs. And she
What you didn't see
disappeared.
was the FBI looking in through your window with a long lens. But hey, mate, too late now. Too late.
It's alright. I've got blinds and curtains, so I can get through.
Good man. Good
So
man.
I'm there, and she went upstairs as the event started, so I relaxed, and she's like, "How did it go? What did they reveal?" I'm like, "It went fine. They didn't reveal anything. I was disappointed. I'm going to
Oh,
bed." Oh, he was so excited for this meeting. I was, yes, but they didn't reveal anything. I'm disappointed. Well, maybe next time, hopefully. But I think they may be revealing something next week. But I'll let you know. Oh, we'll keep us informed and kind of intrigued what's going on. I will. I won't, but I will. So she's like lived there for the past pretense of 12 days thinking nothing's happening until smiling. I was like, there's a reveal today. I need to watch it. She's like, you told me that nothing happened 2 weeks ago. I was like, I may have lied. NDA, I lied.
see, you know, Declan, you shouldn't have told me this because now I can apply some kind of false positive or false negative logic. If I start to quiz you and you play it really cool, like there's nothing interesting going on, I will know that there is something interesting going on.
It's like I saw you and Andrew talking on Twitter, being like, "It's very sus that Ubisoft are doing
my
a free
God.
weekend," and I sat there like, "Shit!"
The number of people,
I
the
want to say
number of
something so badly.
no, but you know what was funny? Yes, I get my really dry sense of humor doesn't work in text, right? You know, on a tweet or in Discord or whatever. And there's been enough leaks that I thought I was being very obvious, but the number of people who took it like very seriously. Well, have you not seen the leaks? Yes, I have seen the leaks, and that's why I'm putting out my silly little throwaway comment. So yeah. Anyway, it's all good fun.
Don't worry, I got the tone of the thing. I just
Thank you
sat there
very
like,
much. Thank
I
you.
can't. I feel like that's just a British thing though that can't translate on tweets, but whatever.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I just sort of sat there and watched this entire discussion happen and sat there like, if I say anything, I'll
For
give
God's
the
sakes,
game away.
do not say anything. Do not ever break your NDAs because
It's a
you
legal
get into
document. You
trouble.
can get sued.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly. Don't get sued, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Before,
Anything else you don't want to tell us, Declan, whilst we're recording?
Can you tell me how to zoom in on Google? Oh, wait, found it.
Control plus.
I think I've just found something interesting.
Control plus to zoom in.
I haven't all found something interesting.
And now, is this under NDA or not? Because we need to be super careful here.
Well, the
No,
trailer's out, so.
No, this is me zooming in. 225% on the key art for the crossover.
Okay.
It looks like the pattern of Eivor's Hidden Blade is similar to the Byzantine Hidden Blade from Revelations.
Someone
Funnily
just mentioned
enough,
that on Twitter.
Yes.
Have they?
Yes.
Oh, I've just
Our
been
friend
staring.
Malakas just mentioned that. Says, does this look a little bit Byzantium to you? So I'll be honest, I don't know what the Byzantine blade looks like, but hey, this sounds
The
bloody
hook
interesting.
Yeah, it's the
The
hook blade.
Is it the hook blade that she's?
Yeah.
Well,
that-
she doesn't have a hook blade, but this thing does actually look quite similar.
The bracer. That's why I've been zooming in. I've been staring at past 10 minutes thinking some of the swirls were Greek. So I was like, did she invent her own? But then I looked close. I was like, reminds me of the Byzantine Hidden Blade.
To be fair, that would make sense with like the whole Holy Roman Empire thing. they're not the Holy Roman Empire on this side of the divide. But the
Hang on a
fact
minute.
that
Hang on a
like
minute.
the Greco-Romans influenced a bit, and then it split, and then it was like
Ah,
the thing that was there before the Ottoman Empire, basically, like
yes.
Barbarossa and stuff.
The Eastern Roman Empire was effectively a Greekified
Yeah,
Roman Empire, wasn't it? So you would
yes.
expect.
So you'd expect the sort of same iconography a little bit, and the
Yes, that
same
makes
artistic
sense.
influences.
But why does Eor's hidden blade have a bee on it?
A bee.
Yeah.
Bearing in. Oh, I see what you mean. Actually, on the blade. Well, I mean, we've got to love the bees,
Oh,
mate. The bees need our help.
Yeah. But the
I
funny
don't
thing
think that's quite
is,
what you're pointing out, is it?
when you look at the key art for Eor's hidden blade on the actual internet, it doesn't look like she has a bee on it.
I've got some very high res pictures of Eivor's extended hidden blade. I'm going to go and have a quick look at them now.
Yeah, she doesn't on the key
Obviously,
art.
as a podcast, which is an audio medium,
oh,
us looking at
I
on
know
screen
this.
pictures is
I
not
know
great. Go
this.
on.
In Norse mythology, or like Norse culture, the bees are also associated with wisdom. So like that whole thing of like going to tell the bees life events.
Hmm.
It appears in the Norse Eddas and is often connected with Yggdrasil.
Okay.
Ooh. Well, there's a mystery
Interesting.
solved. And
I can tell you that base game Eivor, her hidden blade, even when fully extended, you do not have that bee engraving on it.
Ooh. Oh, I
But
love
it could
that.
just be a bit of artistic license. Or maybe
yeah,
she engraved it after completing certain trials of wisdom or something.
Yeah, maybe it's just a symbol of character growth.
Mm,
It'll be interesting to see if it's there in the actual thing. And if there's a
yeah.
reason for it.
Maybe she just really likes honey.
I like
Sorry.
honey, so maybe. But I think that's maybe all we have time for tonight. I
I
need to
think you're
sleep.
right.
And I need to edit this to be out tonight.
ASAP.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's gonna be out. It's gonna be out in the next 10 minutes.
Really? Do you think you can get this edited and uploaded or published in 10 minutes?
Why not?
All right, mate. Well, listen, you make
Challenge
the
run.
audio available. I shall do the video version. I don't go to bed until midnight anyway, so I'm ready. I'm ready. I may go and play some Odyssey just to, warm up the old Odyssey muscles. Ready for tomorrow.
Lucky. Ah,
I'm gonna go back to playing Hades because that's all I played for 2 weeks.
Oh, I watched a bit of the stream yesterday or today of the stream that you did a couple of days ago, Louise. That game looks great. And can I just say, if anyone does watch Save Ancient Studies Alliance on Twitch, where Louise was a guest, Louise has the best headphones I have ever seen. Do you
I'm
want to
wearing
describe
them
them,
now.
Louise? Oh, happy
They
days.
they are the Razer rose quartz cat ear headphones.
Tell us about the ears. What do the ears do?
The ears light up, and that
Yes.
you can also download software with the headphones, which means they light up different colors,
that is
Awesome.
perfect.
They're the
and they're
best headphones I've
custom.
ever seen. They're fantastic.
Yeah, you can change what color like loop they change as well, so it's not just red, green, blue. So you could have like yellow ears with the pink.
That is epic.
I am just
Love it, mate.
lazy and just prefer the
Love it.
white. But yeah, they are my streaming headphones. They are my podcasting headphones. And
I love them.
apparently very lucky.
All right, Declan, do your epic closing the show speech, my friend.
So yeah, thanks to everyone joining this very unusually active episode. It wasn't on the cards. We do have a unique episode this week planned with blank, where we talk about blank, which I'll probably reveal tomorrow on Twitter, which is at AC Let's Talk, or you can follow James at James Liquid. Follow Louise as well, because this is not a normal podcast. So let's give a shout out to Louise at the Nerdy Archer, which she also runs the Rookery Archive podcast. So I'm just gonna plug it in because this is not a normal podcast episode, but I actually really want to know everyone's reactions to this trailer, so please email me at assassinscreedletstalk@gmail.com and reach out to Twitter. And we'll see you all Saturday in precisely 4 days.
See you all
Wow.
very soon.
There's a lot of editing in 4 days.
yeah. Good luck, mate.
I've had 2 coffees today. I'm ready to go.
You might need a third.
Yes.
So thank you all, and we'll see you all next week. Well,
Bye, everyone.
Saturday.